Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Crafty Fun with Mary's Kaszazz. This is another video tutorial for a Zoom class that was held on the Sunday, the 30th of May to 2020. Gosh, 2020. Where did all that time go? I think we lost 2020 somewhere along the way. Anyway, today we're going to be making this card here, which is basically just a gatefold card, and it has a mechanism that holds that in place. And I'm just trying to remember. Sorry, I'm just reaching over for my notes because I did write down what that was called. And nope, I actually don't have that written down. But anyway, it's basically a gatefold style card, and the mechanism that holds it together is just a slide on, um, basically like a slide on clasp, and it's sort of just like that there, and it holds it all together. You could use the back side of this as what you write your greeting on, although you are making a standard card as well, so you can write on the inside of that as well. So like I said, it's a standard gatefold card, can be made in any size. This was the 6x6, but the one I'm going to make today will be just our standard card size, so A5 folded in half, although we're going to make it into a gatefold that fits in a normal size envelope that you would post for normal postage here in Australia. So I will give dimensions as I go along, and I hope that you will try this card. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and comment below. We'll jump over onto my Facebook group, Crafty Fun with Mary's Kaszazz, and you can post your photos of any of the cards that you make and like. All the products that I use here today are from Kaszazz. I am an independent consultant with Kaszazz, and you will be able to find all of these products on my web store. And if you go to my page of the same name, Crafty Fun with Mary's Kaszazz, it has all the links and whatnot. I'll also put a link in the description below if you wanted to have a look at any of these products. These papers here that I've used in both this card and this card here are from the Autumn Fair collection that was released out in January. So I'm using this one here with the hearts. So they're double-sided, so pink and hearts, blue and green stars. I don't use these ones here. They have the pink and the blue with the balloons. And then these ones here is what I'll be using in this one here. That's the top ones there. And then these, I've been using these a lot lately. They're little stick-ons. They're clear, and they've got gold writing, and they're just gorgeous. They just, they're obviously going to pick up any of the colour that you have in below, but they're just something that you can easily stick on there. And the little butterfly is a die cut. It's actually a stamp and then a die cut. It's not really focusing well, sorry. And I have just embossed that with bridal tinsel embossing powder, and I've been using the Distress dabber. I'm finding that a lot easier to use as well. And then just sticky gems, pearls, and these are those stickers. They come in packs of 2. So let's get started on, like I said, this was a 6x6. This one here I'm going to demonstrate just so that you can see you can do them in any size, and you just adjust how you go. So you're really just doing mats and layers. So your bottom base card is a standard A5 size, which would be 21 centimeters by 14.8. And then you find the middle, the third point. So you want the base of your card to be standard. So if you were to fold a normal A5 in half, this piece here would become 10.5 because it's half of the 21 centimeters. So you want your middle piece to be 10.5. So what you're left playing with is 10.5. So you need the half of the 10.5. So these ones here are 5.25. Now, 5.25, don't get worried, 5.2 on one side, 5.3 on the other side. You're not going to notice because you are going to actually do a slight bit of a trimming. You'll see they don't actually join right up there in the middle. Now, if you can't see real well, that is my lighting. I am in my camper trailer still, but you don't want them to join, because otherwise this piece here, when it slides up and down, it won't be able to do that if these pieces meet. So you can see on this one here too, it's got that slight bit of gap in the middle, so that when you put this mechanism piece in, you can still slide this up and down. So it will, it needs to be tight enough that it's not going to, slip off, but you've also got to be able to slide it up and down, or your recipient certainly needs to be able to slide it. So it does need to have that little bit of a gap. So we're working on about these, probably once you trim that up, 5.1. So if you sort of went with 5.1 on either side, then that will allow you for that little gap as well. So that's just a normal, now we've created the normal gatefold. These pieces here are in paper. You just make them so that you've got the gap. So we were talking 5.1. So these are 4.5 and they'll be 14.3 long. So when I attach these here, I will end up with the even border all around. I really do apologise for my lighting. I'm not sure what might make that better. Let's turn one of these lights off. It's catching it. There's quite a bit of light coming in from the back as well. So mats and layers really is all you're creating in your standard card. So for all intents and purposes, you're making a gatefold card, and I'll just attach these so they have an even border. Whoops, even border. And then in the inside, I've just done because this is coloured cardstock, I've just done a white card for in the inside, and that's where I've put my greeting, and that's where you can write in that as well. Now make sure when you do put these together, if they're going to be slightly off, make sure that they're both slightly off so they don't look odd. So once they're attached, this card is so quick and easy to make too, so you don't need a lot of supplies. So this is the inside mat. So this mat here is going to sit in here, and I've actually made my card so it's in the landscape, not the portrait. And so this is, again, is just a layer. So mine is 10 centimetres by 14.3. And I'll attach that to the inside as well. And like I said, you can do as much decorating. You could, this would be where you would write something to your recipient. You could decorate this up. You don't really want to put a lot of embellishments on the inside though, because your mechanism won't work. So this just layers up in there. And I've just put a little, that's a little dragonfly, because on the front of my card, I'm going to have a little dragonfly as well. And then I've just stamped a sentiment, may this day bring you all things to make you smile. And then I would write something in here. You could put a matte layer onto these here. I haven't chosen to do that. So essentially we've just created a landscape version of a gatefold card. So far that's just standard. So where it becomes different is the little sliding clasp that we make to hold the card together, and it just adds another layer. So, it makes it look like it's part of the card. A gatefold card doesn't necessarily need anything to hold it shut, but it just gives it steps it up a little bit and makes it something a little bit different to what you would normally do. So for that, you're going to need 4 pieces that are exactly the same size. And this size here can be any size you want it to be. There's no specific size, but like what I did with the square card, I've kind of made sure that when this sits centrally, you've got even border around. So on my 6x6 base here, this piece is I think it was 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. You want to make it square, and then I've just layered that up. So because I did a square card, I had a square clasp as well. Because this is a landscape card, I'll be doing a landscape clasp. Now my pieces, so when they sit on, again, it looks even. So you could make this any size you want, but mine is 8.5 centimeters by 6.5 centimeters, and you want 4 pieces exactly the same size. And then if you're matting and layering it, I've done mats and layers, and I've just reduced my mats and layers by 5 centimeter increments. So this layer here will be 8 centimeters by 6 centimeters, and then the paper layer that sits on top of that is 7.5 centimeters by 5.5 centimeters. Now you only need to mat and layer the top, so this will be what sits on the top. So that's this piece here. Now to make the mechanism, you need to fold 2 of these pieces in half, and then on the remaining layer, these get attached with the hinge part on the inside. So you'll end up with that. So I'm going to attach those. So I've folded mine in half, and I've attached my, I'm just using double-sided tape there. So remember that the folded piece needs to be in the center, not on the edge. So I would just line up these edges here, remembering you've only got tape on one side of the folded piece. Line that up there. So that's what we've got so far. And then I've got tape on the one side again of the folded piece. And we're going to put this folded edge to the center. So it basically butts up to that piece there. And then just make sure they're all stuck down. So what you've got now looks like that, where you've stuck it down. And then this piece will be attached to that. And that completes that clasp. So again, I've just put double-sided tape onto the back of what I would say is now the top piece, the piece that you can see, this piece here. And you want to attach it to these 2 flaps here. And because all of these are the same size, you don't get to see anything from the outside. It just looks like you've got one piece. But what you've made is that little clasp, and your card sits down in there. So this, remembering mine is going to be landscape, you could do this in the portrait version. And you just, the first couple of times you do it is going to be a little bit stiffer because your card hasn't, your cardstock hasn't been manipulated enough to go on, really easily. But you just slide it on. You want to make sure, sorry, that you don't have that too big of a gap, because you don't want this to be always falling off. But it has to be big enough that this can slide. If you didn't have that gap, you would not be able to slide that. That would be just too tight. And that's essentially all it's doing. It's just got this where it holds it in there, and that's the card. That's all you're going to do. The rest is up to your decorating. You can see why you wouldn't be able to put too much embellishment inside your card. It just wouldn't sit properly. All your embellishing really you would be doing on the outside of your card. And I'm just going to pop this up onto a foam square, and I've just used a bit of stickles to make that nice and glittery. I don't know if you can see that, a little bit of glitter there, and it's just got a little pearl in the middle there. Just pop this half of one back on here, and I'm just going to pop that up onto that foam square and just onto there. And really, I've just kept it nice and simple. You could absolutely embellish, but remember, this has got to be able to slide. So you could certainly be doing some embellishing up the top and bottom. If you put it here, then obviously you'll only be able to bring that out one way, and that doesn't matter either. It however you want to decorate, really. I've just kept mine really simple. You could get these out very quickly if you had a lot to make, and they just make a card that's just that little bit different to what you normally get. So that's the sliding gatefold card. I'm not quite sure what you call it. There's lots of YouTube tutorials about these, but I just thought I'd pop on today, show you. This is what we made in our Zoom class. These Zoom classes are free. Um, you don't need to pay for these classes at all. You will find the link to join on my Facebook page event, which is on Crafty Fun with Mary's Kaszazz. Go to events and you will see all the dates there for the Zoom classes, and they are free. You just need to have the Zoom app downloaded or on your computer. But thank you for joining me today. I hope you can join me for some future Zoom classes. They're every fortnight. Until we meet again, have a great crafty week. Bye for now.